First episode directed by a woman. How cool is that? Welcome to the Time Treadmill. I'm Ron, and these are my sweaty thoughts about Doctor Who. As I said, The Massacre is the first Doctor Who story to be directed by a woman, Patty Russell. Directed from a script written by John Lucarotti, one of my favorite writers from this period. He also wrote Marco Polo and the Aztecs, and he is an absolute master of writing pure historicals. The title of this story is actually a little bit controversial. In most places it's listed as simply The Massacre. In other places it's listed as The Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve. And the difficulty in clarifying that is this is one of only 3 entirely lost stories. There literally exists no filmed footage from any moment from the entirety of the massacre. As such, all I had to watch today was a loose cannon reconstruction that uses recovered audio combined with telesnaps taken during the filming of the episodes, which actually works surprisingly well on this one. The telesnap coverage was pretty solid, which means there was a bare minimum of subtitles describing the action taking place. There are only a few sequences in these first 2 episodes where the audio is completely silent while something stealthy happens and requires some subtitles to describe what's going on. As for the story itself, it's set in 16th century Paris, and the plot revolves around an incident that I had no idea of until the first time I watched this story. And that, in and of itself, I'm not sure whether it's a failing of the American educational system or whether I fell asleep in class. Quite possibly a combination of both. But essentially, at this point in history, there was a huge religious divide in Paris and throughout Europe. But specifically, here in Paris, you had the Catholics, and then you had the Protestants, or as the French called them at the time, the Huguenots. And the inciting off-screen event in this story is the marriage between a Huguenot king and a Catholic princess. This marriage was intended to help heal the religious rifts within French society, but instead what it led to was the titular massacre. And like I always say, my wife loves it when I say titular. And so, into this scenario, the TARDIS arrives at the beginning of the first episode, dropping Stephen right into the middle of all of this religious drama. As for the Doctor, he's barely even a part of the story. This story really is the Stephen Taylor show. Very early on, the Doctor realizes he's in the perfect time and place to meet a noted apothecary, and for the life of me, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, so I'm going to put it right here. There's another failing of the American educational system for you. He's noted as being the first scientist to have hypothesized the existence of germs. And it's the combination of his work and German opticians creating microscopes to find these germs that became the foundation of that entire field of science. So it's no great surprise that the Doctor wants to run off and meet him. Stephen, being Stephen, is immediately wrapped up in the local intrigue, and in particular the plot to assassinate someone known only by the code word, the Sea Beggar. So here we have everything I could possibly want in a pure historical. It's a rich, interesting time period, set in a time and place that I have very little knowledge of. Bearing in mind that this is a children's educational TV program, it's certainly educating me. So, yeah, I guess I'm 12. There you go. The other noteworthy thing about this story is that William Hartnell appears as a completely different character in the 2nd and 3rd episodes. He appears of, and I'm going to butcher this name, the Cardinal of Ambrose. Ambroise. I don't parlez-vous the Francais. That's my wife who can do that. In any case, this is the first time we have the actor who plays the Doctor playing a doppelganger character in the story. Sure, William Hartnell played a robot version of the Doctor back in The Chase, but that was The Chase, which is crap. And it was a robot version of the Doctor, so he was just playing the Doctor and the robot Doctor. Not quite the same thing. In this one, he is literally playing 2 completely different characters, and in fact, the end title credits, in episode 1 and 4, William Hartnell is credited as Doctor Who. In episodes 2 and 3, he's credited as the Cardinal. This is a plot device we'll see again during the 2nd Doctor era in one of my favorites of his run, Enemy of the World, and lots of stories about that one when we get there. Anyway, getting back to the massacre. I absolutely love this story, and I'm just so disappointed that this is almost certainly one that will never be reconstructed via animation, or if it is, it will be one of the very last as a matter of last resort and completeness. It's just not the kind of story that appeals to a mass audience. It doesn't have the science fiction trappings. The Doctor barely appears in it. It's just not, from a marketing standpoint, a great one to spend money on reconstructing, and that's such a shame because it's so good. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up for today. I will see you tomorrow for the completion of The Massacre. I'll see you then.